They don't. Zoom isn't doing the.
I know it doesn't do the live thing in the corner anymore. I know.
Hey Zoom, we missed the. We like it. We like the
Yeah,
little live thing. That's we've been using that for what, 10 years across
right.
YouTube and all these platforms. Bring it back, Zoom. All right, I'm Adrian Park, and welcome to Contractor's Corner. With me today,
Oh, here we go.
found, founder of Contractor AI, master roofer, even if it's in his own mind. I'm
Hmm.
kidding. Contracting consulting Jedi, and proof that Canadians do more than just play hockey and say sorry. John J. Carter.
All right. They get better every
You get
week. I didn't see
the
that coming.
sorry. Sorry. I took
Yeah.
this. All right. So interesting week, Jay. Uh I'm gonna go like right into the deep end here.
Yep.
So Canadian and US housing numbers came out for 2023.
Hmm.
And there are a fun number of words that come to mind: ugly, bloodbath, um, decades lows. So the U.S. housing market is, well, let's say the Canadian housing market is at like 15, 16. So basically back to credit crisis like
Yep.
numbers. Rough. The U.S. 29-year
Hmm.
lows. And I mean, I don't think anybody's surprised. I
No.
mean, if you're unless you're living under a rock, uh, you know, we know that like this was. I mean, we were feeling this in 2022.
Right.
I mean, for us, 2022
It's
was
been
a
a long
weird
time
year.
coming.
Yeah, it was a weird year, and we had a bunch of like, I mean, we had a, I don't know, decade and a half of just like, you know, lots of great stuff, and but like, um, you know, I was feeling this in 2022 in the masonry business, and it was like even though we weren't in a recession, it was really obvious. Especially if I mean, if you want to see where things are going, watch the stock market, whether it's the U.S. stock
Right.
market, the Canadian stock market, and the stock markets in 2022 were getting kicked in the
Yeah.
dead. So, so we've had this sort of recession, not a recession. Like it's a weird thing because it's like, I mean, at least in the credit crisis, which obviously was difficult for all of us, at least during the credit crisis, you knew everything was upside down and
Yeah.
inside out. But
Right.
with this last 2 years, housing was sort of like flat, and construction was flat in 2022, down for it just kind of depended what your trade was, and regionally where you were, and so on and so forth, and how strong or healthy or not strong your business was. And I think in the last year, 2023 with rates, I mean, that's real, right? I mean, you got variable loans or lines of credit, and you're on those
Hmm.
loans, and you're on those lines, and buddy, you're feeling that stuff. And
Well, here in Canada, we had a similar thing. So for all Canadian businesses, our brilliant government gave everybody, anybody, any business, basically, 60 grand. Okay. And the way that CERB
okay,
worked, which was great for me. I mean, I'll take free money all day long.
absolutely, oh yeah,
But now what's happened is on the 18th, which was this week, everyone had to have it paid back, and there was a forgiveness.
ah,
So they
okay,
had to pay back a 40 of the 60, and they were forgiven for 20 interest free money.
okay,
I take that deal all year long,
good
right?
deal, yeah.
But there's a whole apparently only a quarter of the businesses were able to pay it back. So now what's happened is now they're on the hook for the full 60. So you can imagine, like,
Oh,
companies were on the rocks to begin with.
yeah,
They were destabilized, and then the government just extended that life of that business. And for us, when they brought that out, our company was looking at, well, how do we grow? Because we've been stagnant due to resource issues, and you can only grow so much within a market. And we have such, smaller competition that can come in and just kind of, get in the way and mess up pricing and cause a whole bunch of grief for us. Well, they extended their life with these loans. All right. And I'm just only
Right.
speaking from a greedy perspective. Yes, they were necessary. They saved a lot of businesses that couldn't
100%.
work, right?
Right.
But it was done non-discriminatory. So, businesses like in roofing and construction and builders, we never stopped. We kept working. And in fact, it
Right.
got busier. There was
Right.
really no need to have those loans go out. And
Right.
all it did was give, other companies that were already in bad shape, an extended life.
Right.
Now, what's happened is that's being, basically reeled in. And like anything, their intention was to slow down the economy. Like I just I like you know, a, a a sports car just like that jammed on its brakes, and our wheels have been smoking and we're at a dead
Yeah.
stop, right?
Yeah.
For if I had to describe the train wreck that the economies and the governments have created, because again, we
Yeah.
in Canada, and not to downplay from the States, but in Canada we have a housing crisis, 3.5 million short of homes that we need to build, which has driven up the housing
Huge
price.
number.
I mean,
Yeah.
I'm in the Toronto area, which is one of the most expensive places to live in the world, and it wasn't always, but
Right.
luckily I have a home before all this happened. But now, you know, there's not too many people that qualify to buy a house, let alone
No.
be able to carry all the debt that's been accumulated. So
Yeah.
Canadians, and I mean, there's a good side to this for some businesses, but for Canadians, this year is going to be the toughest. The next, I'm going to say, 12 months. If your business gets through the next 12 months, and you have been building through COVID and everything else, and you've been
Right.
stacking your chips and getting things aligned, sales teams, marketing, all these other things, you stand to grow, because all
You're in a
good
great
companies
spot.
grow
That's right.
through recession. And I know I've been waiting for my moment to really kind of take more of the market control,
Right.
and really work on developing in these kind of times, because now all of a sudden there is a gap. All right, there's a gap between the guys that are capable of marketing, that still are in good financial shape, and all these other businesses that will have no choice. All right, with these payments, with the cost of everything going up, they didn't account for any of this, so they're bleeding dry. Right,
Right.
now, here's the thing. Here's the glory of it all. And down in the States, it's the same thing. There's still huge demand. Money has not gone
Right.
away, and
Right.
this is the misconception. Money is getting more cautious, it's slowing down, but it's not gone away. All right.
Right.
So instead of having 200 opportunities, we have 100.
Right.
Right. So it's about how your company's positioned now. And really what it's going to come down to is how well you're taking advantage of certain things that are going on in your local markets, regional markets, even state markets, provincial markets,
Right.
that will dictate, how well you come out, because we're going to get back to those good times. You're in construction and in the trades. Believe me, we're going to be sheltered a lot from the real damage of this downturn, because the demands all is going to continue to be hot. It's going to continue to be, we're going to be continue to be in high demand. So, I mean, you have to really focus on that, getting your pricing adjusted, all of those kind of things. That's really where I think a lot of guys are lost. And then how to seize the opportunity. I see it over and over again, and we're going to be talking about it today. But
Yeah.
sales, like, how do we seize an opportunity where it's actually required to be good at closing your customers?
So I think I'm gonna say this. One of the things that I appreciate about this kind of an environment. So when things are, when to your point, there is money there, right?
Oh yeah.
There are people that still want to do projects, and they're going to, they're going to shoulder the whatever the additional cost is. And again, it gets
Mhm.
substantial, right? I mean, rates are 2 and 3% higher than they were in 2021. That's a
But
massive number
but
when you're
people,
talking about like big 8 and 9 figure jobs, right?
right, right. Well,
Big
and again,
projects, that's huge.
government's still spending. Government will never stop spending. So guys that
Right,
are really protected in those
right,
markets,
right,
we're going to see a lot more commercial going up, a lot more industrial is already starting to explode. Here in Canada, where landholders have been on, they've held the property for a long time. Now's and cash rich companies. I mean, again, at the end of the day,
that's right,
if
that's
you
right,
were holding and you've held out and you've got cash stock, all right, cash is going to be king here, right? And for homeowners and for even direct buy customers, I still have and we focused, like we knew this was happening, that middle class is going to be absolutely the hardest hit in this whole thing. That's who it's, and it's creating a bigger divide, right? It's creating a divide between the haves and the have-nots, right? And it's unfortunate, but that has been going on for the last 50 years. It's now more obvious than ever that this is a pure attack on, the middle class. It just eliminates them from buying. So what they, what a middle class buyer, which I, again, a lot of my customers work with, we moved away entirely from during COVID, just realizing what was about to happen. And we went straight to we're looking for people with high net worth, $5 million, $6 million in the bank.
Right.
Their buying habits have not changed one bit, not one bit. They're more cautious. They're more selective. They're a little bit slower, but they're still buying. Like today, like I think I was sharing that before we started, our sales team knows this. We've been confident. We're going in confident for these big jobs, and we're landing them.
Right.
It's one of our best Januaries we've had in a lot of years, and
Yeah.
that's contrary to what the markets are saying, right?
Well, and I think, so to your point, Jay, the gift in a difficult time, like in tough economic time, the
Mm-hmm.
gift for you is you're prepared.
Yep.
So you're ready for this.
I've been waiting
Um,
for it. Yeah, it's good
yeah,
for
I mean,
us.
it's an opportunity because, to be blunt, your competition isn't as prepared,
That's right.
and they're backpedaling and trying to figure out,
They're
like,
trying to get
why
small.
do we have fewer leads? Yeah, why
Right.
aren't we, we're not closing as many contracts? And so, what do people do? They
That's
drop
right.
their prices. They bid jobs they shouldn't be bidding, right?
That's right.
I mean, I saw it and I did it. I mean, I'm guilty of it. You're probably
Mm-hmm.
guilty of it too.
For sure.
But I mean, you just, you're like, oh shit, I've got to make payroll. Oh shit, I've got to pay
Yeah.
Sherwin Williams. Oh shit, I've got to pay, you know, whoever, right? So,
It's taken so many times where I've been caught in the last recession in 2008, and like I took those lessons where we got beat up and where
right,
we weren't prepared
right,
as, fuel for this time round. Because again, when you're competing in a market where, money is just flying around everywhere and anyone can afford to hire anybody and everybody's, in demand, it's very hard to, do to compete on that because we're
yeah,
still in the resource game. I am in a resource
yeah.
business. If
It's
I
all
don't have
money.
resources,
That's right.
there there's no moving away from that. I could close all the jobs I want. If I don't
Right.
have resources to get those jobs done, whether it's suppliers, material, like workers, staff, you name it, right? But now that gets reset. Now we're back to fair,
Yeah.
right?
Well, and I
So,
think, again, the what I was kind of driving at is, so if so you're probably in one of two buckets. You're either in the J bucket, right, where you're prepared, or more prepared, I'll say. I mean, no, yeah, we always,
yeah, there's no
I never
fully
feel fully
prepared.
prepared, but yeah,
That's right.
but you're more prepared, or you're in the F
Right.
bucket, and you're feeling you are underprepared, and you're
Hmm.
feeling very underprepared, and it feels like this tidal wave is
Correct.
about to crash down on your head because you're on your lines, so, and it's more expensive to be on your lines, and you're basically moving
Right.
money around, and maybe you're 90 days or more on your vendors, and it's like tough. And so,
Hmm.
maybe, you know regardless of where folks are at, maybe we can kind of help everybody,
Absolutely. So
because
I
there's a
will.
move, there's a play, regardless of where you're at.
Right. So
Right.
again, I'm going to make this one broad, but I have a very, I remember in 2008, I put myself in this exact position when the economy went down. And what I realized is number one, again, getting clear about who you do business with, right? That's your first step in anything
Yes.
is
Right.
readjust your offers, readjust your client avatar, who you're going after, and make sure that you're looking at what your offer is to the market and differentiating it. Okay. If you can do those three things, if you can really focus down on, listen, what is the offer being out to be made? Because the way
Right.
I look at it is now instead of having 20 companies out there going, hey, I'm a roofer, give me work. We've got 50 that have all of a sudden tried to put their hat in. And when you're a customer that has options, all right, and everybody looks, sounds, and is offering the same thing, how do you stand out?
Yeah.
How do you look different? And again, this is where guys get themselves into trouble is that they look at what the guy next to him is doing and the guy down the road, and then they copy it. That is the biggest
Right.
mistake you can make. What you want to do is really start to take a moment, relax, figure out what it is that you can uniquely offer to the market most consistently that makes you profit. Get rid of everything else. Everything else is a risk. Focus on the one or two things that you do really, really well. All right. Find your market, differentiate your offer, stand out and look different than everybody else. And here's why I'm suggesting this first as a very first step. Okay. This, first of all, is one of the most profitable things that you could do for your business right now, today, no matter your size, anything. Get your offer clear, get your message to the market clear. Second thing. All right. So we'll say that's the first phase, 3
Okay.
steps. Second
Yep.
phase, 3 steps. Okay.
Okay.
We're going to systemize the sales process. Okay. We're going to systemize and start taking advantage of CRM so we can lower our overhead costs and increase our chances of closing sales. Okay. So CRMs, technology, yeah, I know it's an ugly word, but if you don't know, get into it, get involved in it,
Right.
because it's starting to remove a lot of those hidden costs that we have in acquiring customers. So I'll give you a good example of this. A good CRM now can use AI to communicate and book calls for you. Okay. Where if, and this can
Scheduling
be done
appointments,
20,
those
yeah,
sort of stuff.
absolutely. So Contractor AI does that. Instead of having an admin that gets back to them 6 hours later, well, you have less an opportunity. If you're not getting back to your clients almost immediately now, you can be losing those chances. Okay. So that would be my next, the next step is get your systems in order. If you don't have a CRM, again, Contractor AI offers one. There's a million of them out there, but make
Yeah.
sure, okay, that we're systemizing and using less people power. Okay. We have the technology now so that, and again, if you don't arm yourself, you are essentially becoming the prey. All right. If you don't want to be the predator, you're going to be the prey. So like,
Right.
this is how powerful these things have just become. And again, we've seen them up and over the years, and there's so many other things that get built on that. So number 2, in the steps in the second phase, sales. Okay. Learn your lead to deal pipeline. Manage that well. Understand that we're still in a people to people business, whether you're doing business to business, B2C, business to customer. We are still a relationship built business.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's
Be real. Don't, like, behind all this technology, it might sound like a contradiction to what I'm saying, but you still have to show your face. You still have to be personal with people. You have to know where those touches are and when it's the right time to reach out to someone, have a conversation, and close deals. Okay. Again, CRMs help, but don't ever, ever hide behind them. Okay. There's no hiding behind them. And this is really what we're talking about today in terms of being strong on your sales. Your marketing is what brings the opportunity to your doorstep. Your sales is what takes that opportunity and
real.
turns it into something real. So there can never be a confusion around that. Does
Well,
that make
and I
sense?
think it makes perfect sense. And I had that experience like in 22
Mm-hmm.
where, um, it was obvious there were fewer
Mm-hmm.
leads,
Yep.
and the
So you got to convert more.
temptation. What's that?
You have to convert more.
Yeah. So
That's it.
the temptation was from others on the team was, well, let's go bid this, let's go bid that, and I was like,
Right. That's the wrong
we've
move.
been down that road.
That's the
We
wrong move.
know we know where that road goes, and I'm going to tell you, not a great place, right?
Right.
We've
Right.
lost a lot of money doing that kind of stuff. So why the fuck are we here now, right?
and and I remember this. I remember a conversation you and I had, and I remember a certain one distinctly where I gave you my avatar project. And remember, in that conversation, you were coming to me asking me about traffic, asking me about where to get leads from. I'm going, whoa, 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 whoa. Before you do that, okay, let's make sure that we're not going out there with our machine gun and machete
Right.
and trying to hack away at things that we
Right.
don't want. All right. Because the other thing recessions and slowdowns bring out, all right, is brutal price shoppers and
That's right.
time killers. I mean, again, we've seen the uptick. So that's why I mean what I'm saying about really knowing your customer, making sure that they are in the safe area. All right. And now there may be fewer. Okay. But the more specifically you can speak to them with your messaging, and the more personal you're making it, whether it's emails, whether it's text, everything comes from your core offer, right? So what is it that you do? So again, getting aligned with this right now is this the way out of this. 100%. I could bet the whole house and the whole all
Yeah.
the businesses on it. All right.
Well,
So
and
the
I
more
think,
aligned you are,
yeah, I was gonna say just to like, you know, maybe take that and put it into, you know, something that's more digestible for me.
sure.
So, like, offer. So I always thought so the in the masonry business we had sort of five things we did really well and made really good money at. And
Mhm.
so those were our core offer, right? Our core competencies,
Right.
the things that we were the five types of work, power washing, tuck pointing, replacement, etc., a few others, caulking, etc. And
Right.
and so like I told our team, I was like these are the things that like when we get leads in, this is what we're looking for, right?
Mhm.
So if somebody calls us, as we weren't concrete like cement heads, we weren't that wasn't our
Right.
thing. So if somebody called to do a driveway or a patch, I was like, I don't care. I know it's a tough year, but we're flipping that, right?
Right.
We're gonna just flip it to a concrete sub and let them just run with the lead
Yep.
because we're going to waste so much fucking time
Absolutely.
like going out there getting the one guy from this crew that can do concrete. Like it's not our
No.
thing. Like let's when the next lead comes in that's for caulking, let's crush that because we're going to make a lot of money. So
Correct. So
that's kind of what you're talking about, right? With with
yes.
core
So
offer.
that's a part of it.
That's
So a core offer though is the message that goes out to the exact customer. So let me give you an example.
okay.
I could say that I am a leading manufacturer of metal roofing services, and we produce luxury metal roofs to the done for you systems, whatever. Okay, but I'm going to
Okay.
speak my message and my offer should speak directly to the type of customer I'm best at doing business with. So again, a lot of times, and I use this example all the time in our classes and with clients, is that I can put two ads side by side. Okay, one is offering free HST, a roof inspection, and a repair. Okay. The other one's saying, hey, I'm a leading manufacturer and I'm installing, custom made metal roofs. And we're going to install gutter guard on every roof because that's what's right. All right.
Right.
You can trust us because of blah, blah, blah. Right. One's going to speak to a price shopper. Another one's going to speak to a value orientated
That's right.
customer.
That's
So
right.
when I make my offer,
Like
all right, you got to remember what I'm doing with that is I'm pointing my offer in an area where there's a gap in the market. Okay. So for example, a lot of guys can do roofing. Roofing is a commoditized service. Okay.
yeah.
Anyone can offer it. So it's not an offer to go out and say, hey, I do roofing. Well, what kind of roofing do you do? Oh, I do roofing shingles. I do flat roofs. I do that. Nobody like you've diluted your offer and it's not
Right.
clear to the person that's trying to consume your services. So now is the time to really get clear about what is it an offer. I would say 95 to 98% of companies out there don't in fact have a offer to the market. And you know how I know that? Because I look at ads all day and all over the
Yeah.
place.
Right.
And I know what happens is that they get involved with an agency that says, hey, I'll generate leads for you. Cool. They don't ask about what they offer uniquely or specifically to the market.
right.
They don't ask,
Yeah.
what your ideal client is. They don't ask
Right.
any of these things. They go, okay, you know what? I had a campaign that worked really well for Joe the roofer over here that I'm going to run now for Jim the roofer over here. And then we're going to pit those two against each other and make them buy the same leads. That's what's happening, right? So I see this over and
This is
over again.
actually happening. That's not
No,
You're not just
and
making
again,
that up. Like
here's
if
yeah,
if you're
I
watching this right now, like that shit happens.
right.
That's not just like Jay being clever. That's real, right?
For sure. And there's not a lot of differentiation to that. So think of it from a consumer or even in a business to business market. They're going in to solve a very specific problem. So I'm a high, net worth individual. Do you think I give a shit about your free HST or any of that? No, none of that. I am a business person. So first of all, I don't believe it. I know you're working it into the price, right?
Right.
Number two, all right, that's not price is not my problem. All right. Price is something that, is maybe a concern, but it's not a problem. Okay.
Right.
My problem is I don't want to replace this roof again. I'm looking to work with the best roofer that I have peace of mind with working with. How do
Right.
I communicate that message clearly to the market so that every time my ideal avatar sees us, we stand out from everything else he's been looking for, right? An offer, a good offer, and this is very important, okay? A good offer can have lousy marketing. Okay. It can have
Yep, that's a
fall
great
down
point.
marketing. You know, you can,
Yep.
it will naturally always do better. A poor offer, okay, it doesn't matter how good the marketing is in the world, it will not allow that
Right.
to scale. And again, I can show you time and time again, you know, the difference between making, you know, a dollar for, or spending a dollar to make $156 and spending a dollar to make $101 is all about the company's brand, their messaging, their how marketable they are. And this is the time to get these things right. If ever there was an adjustment, because now our consumers are really paying attention to where they're spending their money.
That's
They're
right.
not they're not comfortable now all of a sudden. They're looking a lot deeper. They're spending more time researching. And the companies who know this and the ones that are working with their clients, be it business to business, this applies to everyone across the board. The ones that are communicating clearly to their customers, understand their pain points, understand which moves them to trust and to buy, will win this race. Okay. So you notice all of that didn't involve spending a whole bunch of money on marketing or
Right.
finding new leads and traffic.
Right.
Don't do that. Here's the mistake. Everybody does the same knee-jerk reaction. Oh, I'm running out of leads. I'm going to buy my way out of it. I'm going to go get an agency,
Guilty.
a lead company. Yeah.
Guilty.
Right. So what ends up happening in that case is now they're going to market just like with everybody else. And guess what? For a marketing agency, this is the moment they've been waiting for, because now I'm going to sell the same campaigns over and over again, drive down the CPMs, that's cost per acquired, you know, lead, marketing lead. I'm going to drive all those down and I'm going to own the market, and you're going to pay me and have to call me daddy. You know what I mean? Because you need me, right? Like that's what's happening. So, I mean, either you want to be on the other side of that, and it's called leverage. So let me explain to you how you leverage this situation.
While you're doing that real quick,
Sure.
I think I got to change. Keep talking. I'm going to have to just, I got to get a
Sure.
battery here because I think I'm losing my mic. Hold on.
Yeah, no problem. So let's talk a little bit about leverage. I want you guys to imagine for a second that you're going to leverage this opportunity. Okay. So leverage means, hey, I know exactly who I want you to market to. I want this kind of customer. They move in these kind of circles. And here's my offer. Go get me this, to a marketing agency or a marketer, if you're doing it yourself. Go get me this. Be very clear. That's what I offer. I know it works. Go get me this. And if you don't, then I'm going to hire the next guy that can. Or your other option, where you're under leveraged, is I desperately need leads. Get me leads. Do you see the difference in that? Right? You understand the difference in having leverage and not having leverage, and the difference between the result. Okay. So don't be throwing a bunch of money at marketing and building traffic without even knowing if you can convert those leads. Also, get prepared to deal with less or fewer leads. This is the easiest play. Again, before we're building more traffic, and why don't you go back and close some of the deals you had? Why don't you go back and meet with the customers you've already got in your pipeline? How about you go back and work with people that, you know, have already done business with you that you haven't been in contact with because you've been so busy, instead of looking for the people that are looking to buy right now, right? Go back and work on the people that were already in your pipelines. And again, this is the time to listen, to understand. And all of this doesn't cost you money up front. All right. It costs you money when you add traffic to a bad offer. That's where it costs you money. And that's where companies are going to get demolished, because I know they're not clear about these things.
Right.
The only thing that's going to allow me to grow and them to not grow is the fact that we're very sure of our offer. We're very sure of our market. We know that our customer is still buying. We know the timelines. We know how to nurture them and keep them engaged with us. We know that we do a good job. That's helpful as well. And at the end of the day, this is no threat to us. It's actually an opportunity, right? So we're going to go on an offensive move, which we have, all right? Because what are everybody else doing? They're panicking, doing stupid moves.
Yeah, everyone's like,
and here's the other
tight.
thing. They start jumping and trying to find the next shiny object.
Right.
So, oh, now, you know what? Roofing slowed down. I'm going to go be a carpenter. I'm going to go do that. Great. Perfect. Awesome. That is perfect for us. Because the market now you've just diluted your reach and your impact on solving someone's specific problem. Make sense?
Yeah, look, dude, I I remember, the owner coming to me and saying, like, "Hey, let's bid this demo job."
Right? No,
And I was like,
bad, bad.
"Demo? Like what do we what?" And at first I was like waiting for the no, I'm just kidding. Like, and it didn't come and I was like, "We can't bid a demo job.
Right?
We're not that's like it's a different language. That's not what we do, right?
Right.
We're not going to do it well. It's going to cost us money. Like, what the fuck are we talking about
And
here?
it's just
Right?
much easier to do what you already do well. Just
Right.
get better at
Yes.
talking
Yes.
to your customer. I mean,
Right.
that's what we're talking about here.
Well, and I
So,
think, Jay, I think it's, I mean, so to be fair, it's the human thing to look for the shortest distance between 2 points, right?
absolutely.
Okay,
Absolutely.
so we all do it, but you and I know because we did it the wrong way.
Hmm.
Like, I mean, I'm poking at him, but yeah, I did the same thing. I've done the same thing,
Right.
and so we're looking for the shortest distance between 2 points. However, like this is not the time to do that
No, no.
because this is because when if you because it's one thing to hack something and find a better way, but in an environment like this where it's cutthroat and
Hmm.
interest rates are high, like there are a lot of things that are not in the not working for contractors. There's a lot, like there's fewer jobs. Like this is not the time to like start just like firing, like you were joking earlier, firing off from the hip. It's that because that's a good way to
Right.
get into real trouble.
That, and that's exactly what I'm saying. So, I mean, again, in terms of the places you need to put your energy, time, and effort is first of all, plan, strategy. Okay.
Yeah.
That don't don't go run out and start trying to generate leads and finding new, get rich quick schemes because there's none. All right. In the contracting
Right.
world,
It's bullshit.
listen, it's just as hard to be in demolition as like there is no glorious position. Maybe the
Nope.
electricians, they don't have to clean up or anything, but I don't know, maybe.
It's true. It's actually true.
They're the prima donnas of the whole market. I hope I'm not offending
Yeah,
anyone, but
fucking Sparkies.
at the end of the day, we face the same challenges. So again, if you're serious about growing, you're serious about finding scalability and growth inside of your business, do less things,
Right.
slow it down, get clear about who you're going to serve, and focus on it. Focus
Yeah.
on it, make it an obsession about serving that customer and solving their problems. If you can focus on it that way, and that's all marketing is. Okay. So despite everything, it's not
Right.
flashy words. It's not, you have to be able to back
No.
those words up.
Yeah.
It's about really coming to grips with yourself and getting your team aligned to who do we serve? How do we solve their problems? Okay. Why do we do it the
So
best?
yeah, so let's I'm gonna say like let's close on this, Jay.
Sure.
So um I know what I did and worked for us. Cause so and I've talked about 2022 a little bit just for some context. So we were down like 1.6, 1.7 million in 2022, which it's a 4.5, $4.8 million business.
Yeah.
So it's like huge decline, right?
Yeah.
And yet the business was making money
Yep.
in December of 22 when I left.
That's
So
that's
I
how it's
mean,
supposed to be.
barely, but we
Mhm.
were like on a net, we were profitable. So,
Right.
and that's I'm not like a magician, I'm not a guru, although I did have a great coach.
Yeah. Thank
Shameless
you.
plug for Jay Carter. But like, but you know, the things that worked were I knew that was gonna I knew it was gonna be a tough year because I knew I could see it coming out of 21 as far as like the leads. I just we had fewer leads. Everything was like it was kind of like slowing down, and the people that we were doing work for didn't have as many jobs and all this fun stuff. So what I did is I got really clear, and I mean before we went into the spring season, I sat down with everybody and I was like, look, here's what everybody has to do minimum, right? And not just in terms of like with the sales team. So you need to do this and
Yep.
actually do it, and we're going to talk about it every week, and we're going to
Yep.
manage the jobs, and so we essentially, and it wasn't like I'm not a micromanager, and I didn't
Mhm.
micromanage, but we sat down and everybody agreed, and we actually was like, look, everyone has the capacity. You have the capacity to do this. You can do 800,000. You've got to deliver 800,000, and you have to deliver those at X amount of like net profit or gross profit. And so
Correct.
we were really clear, and that was part of what got us through 2022 and actually like stayed in the black. So
100%.
so for folks that are, because this is like 3 years of like, for some people, challenging times and that's really tiring. So
Right.
how can we help guys and ladies with their sales teams going into 2024 with some like good practical stuff?
Okay, so first things first, you took the words right out of my mouth in terms of
Yeah.
managing a sales team. Up to this point, I think a lot of contractors don't know how to manage a sales team, and I'll explain it to you because it's not like managing your production staff. It's very different. Okay,
Very different.
so number
Very
one,
different.
you want to take a very good close look at your sales team. Are you dealing with sheep or are you dealing with wolves? Okay, and the way to know that
You might have to
is,
explain that.
yeah,
Jay.
absolutely.
Even to me.
Absolutely. So the way to know that is by putting out a forecast and saying, "Hey, this is what my expectation is for you to hit. Here's the
Right.
activities I would like you to do. Here's the best route to go and get it." And then coming
Right.
back to them and saying, "Did you do it? Yes or no?" If a wolf is on your team, he's got that. That's easy,
Right.
and he loves that
Yeah, that's a good
environment
point.
because
Yeah.
now he rises and shines, and the sheep fall apart. Okay, the
Right.
sheep, on the other hand, okay, those are your car dealership guys. Those are the guys that never really were pushed to close.
Right.
Okay,
Order takers,
order
basically.
takers. Yeah.
Yeah.
See, the
Yeah.
problem is they're going to come back to you with a whole bunch of excuses why
Yes.
not.
Yeah.
And when you hear that, your job is to immediately get rid of the sheep on your team. You don't need
Right.
those because, listen, we're not at the high end of the market no more. Okay,
Right.
sheep will not help your business to grow. They won't help it to even
Right.
stabilize. And if you're one of those sheep, all right, now's the time to double down on your personal development and become
Right.
a wolf.
Get better.
Right.
Yeah.
So
Right.
I can say I have successfully turned sheep into wolves. All right.
Yeah. Right.
And the good news here is this is the time to really understand sales process, sales skills. All of
Right.
these things are worth investing in. And again, if my chips are down and the bank is calling and I need to get deposits collected to keep in business, who do you want to have in your side? The
That's
sheep or
right.
the wolf?
Yeah.
Okay. So
Right.
again, look very carefully at your team. Be very, very clear on what the expectations are and hold them to those numbers. And those who can't make those numbers, get rid of them. Simple
Yeah.
as that. All
Yeah.
right. All these other, like, how many tech companies have been letting go of their entire sales teams and everything else?
Right.
Why do you think that is?
Yeah.
Right now, they only can have wolves on their staff because there's fewer opportunities. Right.
Right.
Fewer
It's about
opportunities
staying
means
in
you need to
business.
close. That's
Yeah.
right.
Right. Yes.
Right. So for owners that haven't got those skills and don't feel like they're up to par on that, give us a shout. We'll help you out with that. We'll get you structured. We'll turn you into a wolf. But if you sit back and treat your business with sheep-like sales strategies, all right, prepared to feel some serious pain. And this will
Right.
come in the form of I even if you got the leads, you're not going to close because everybody has more time to think about that purchase.
That's
And there's
right.
going to be a lot more objections. There's going to be a lot more reasons why they can't work with
Right.
you. And they're going to
Yeah.
be comparing you to a lot more people, right?
Yeah.
And they're going to be looking at offers much more carefully. People are money conscious, even the wealthy are.
That's
Okay,
right.
now
Of course.
different. And if I don't show up looking the part and playing the part and I don't pass the smell test, I'm out of there, right?
Right.
So again, and the same thing with your customers. They want to work with someone they can trust that has the experience.
Right.
These are the contractors that have been working on their brand, been working on their image, been working on their messaging. Those
That's
are the
right.
guys that are going to rock. Now,
Right.
it's not too late if you were already in trouble. Okay? It's not too late. A
Yeah.
lot of these things could be 90 days or less to turn
Right.
around if you put the effort and you're committed to not falling into the trap. If not, just continue to keep yourself busy and you continue to roll around awake all night worrying about where your next dollar is coming from.
Yeah. Right.
Because again, this is the difference between being a wolf and a sheep. And
Right.
like I said, you may have been the wolf during COVID where jobs were coming at you left and right. But
Right.
now when it's time to really compete, all right, you're going to have to really look back in the mirror and see if you still have that in you. Right.
Right.
So that's my advice in terms of getting your sales on par, making it clear, removing the noise. It should be about results. If results are not being had, then that needs either coach them up or coach them out.
Yeah.
And if that's you, this is also a warning. If you're not that salesperson, get yourself a salesperson. Stop screwing around with
Right.
your money.
Right.
And if you should not be client facing, and I see this day in and day out, okay, there are some people that just know they shouldn't be in that role. Get
Right.
out of it. Don't
Yeah.
put
Don't stop
yourself in
doing
it.
it. Yeah.
Hire a professional,
Yeah.
pay him professionally, okay, and watch the tables turn. Watch the results start to come in,
Right.
right? So again, where are we investing? Marketing? Yes, only after we know our offer. By the way, you want to hire a salesperson, you better damn well know your offer, because he has to go out
That's right.
and carry that forward.
Right.
So this comes down to the structure, the playbooks, all of those things that we talk about over and over again with our audience and in our programs.
Yeah, with
right?
our
If you don't
clients,
have
that's
these things,
right.
get them.
Yeah.
If you don't have them, get them. There's no excuses. All right. Those are peanuts to spend to have long-term success, to have
Right.
to be able to control and manage a sales team that's going to go out there and kill it for you. All right. But if you don't have those things yet, first of all, invest in yourself. We talked about that. If you decide at that point that maybe, hey, you know what, somebody else could play this role, at least you're prepared at that point. And again, hold people accountable. Now's the time, if ever. You know, the scorecards are back in favor of the employer, where we can say, hey, you know what, I am going to hold you to this. And if you can't make that, and you didn't do all the activity, that's okay, because you know what, there's other people that are willing to jump in and take this role that would be really excited about coming in and getting results for this company. So again, be fair. I'm not saying go out and break your core values or be heartless about it, but all of you guys know that we've all had those staff members that haven't been producing, that have been holding the company back. Get rid of them. Now, just don't even think about it. You don't have an option.
I've seen so many of my buddies here that they're so hesitant to terminate someone. And really, it doesn't matter whether they're.
But you're hurting the person,
laborers,
and you're hurting yourself. You're hurting the person.
Guys, they're sales or estimators, and I'm like, dude, how much more pain do you need?
Right, but it's scarcity.
What kind of sacrifices are you willing to make personally, to keep this person? Like, we have this weird stigma, this weird meaning or definition around. It's like, it's so awful to be fired. Look, I mean, we got to let go of that. And if you're doing someone a disservice if you're keeping them in a position that they're not going to succeed at. And of course, you're doing yourself and all of your other employees a huge disservice. You're screwing them.
That's right. And when it comes to sales, it's one of the only really the positions that are completely data driven, in that either you did or you didn't. It's all quantitative. There's no qualitative.
It's the easiest thing to measure.
So this is why I'm saying, like, if you're going to start cleaning house, you go right to the qualitative, like black and white. You did or you didn't, and why or why not? Okay, goodbye. Like that makes it easy, right? And at the end of the day,
I just want to say, we're not heartless pricks, you and me.
No.
Like, both of us actually really care about our clients, our customers, our employees. Like,
absolutely.
We give a shit, and we are. I think. I mean, I think we're the good guys, because I've talked to a lot of other dudes that just they don't care. Like, they don't give a fuck. But all they care about is themselves.
But here's the thing. Here's what I've learned after all these years of doing this. Okay, you being concerned about firing somebody because they're not performing. All right. Do you not think you're doing damage to them? So keeping them, and what ends up happening? They end up resenting you anyways. So,
even more. That's right.
Because you held them. It's like putting the goalie in, letting someone score 10 goals on them. They're just getting killed and not pulling them. Right. Like, they're begging for you to let them go and move on. And again, it's the time to make these decisions, because as we have to get leaner and we have to get stronger and we have to get faster, just like a recession, this is meant to lean out the markets. It's meant to get rid of the trash. It's meant to get our stuff in order, and you've got to rise to the challenge.
I don't want to get too like into the weeds here, but like, this is the way life is, right?
That's
I mean, we have winter. Yeah, we have winter and things die so that they come back in spring. Like, this is like a very essential part of like life. So like, resisting it is only going to bring more pain and suffering to you.
Correct. But I
right?
think a lot of owners were scared through COVID and through everything
Of
about letting staff
course.
go and
Well,
like
and there's
what
not
it
as
would
many
mean.
people out there. Yeah, I
That's right.
mean, construction is hurting for talent. We know
Right.
that.
But here's the thing, especially with sales teams. So please, guys out there, listen to my advice on this. It takes 10 times more energy to correct a sales team on a
Yeah,
bad track than
that's
it
right.
is to replace them entirely.
Right.
Okay. So if you are having a
Yeah.
problem with sales, and again, it's about the only department you can really go to and say, hey,
Yeah.
numbers are not here. I've
Right.
given you chances. I've coached you. I've done everything. Now it's time to move on. Obviously, again, there may be, I've got my stuff in a row. Your obligation is to make sure your offer is good, make sure your sales process is clear. If
Right.
you've done all of those things and you're not getting performance and you're not getting results in a time like this, then you
Yeah.
know where the problem is. And that's the best thing you can do is get rid of them and start with a fresh team that's going to give a shit. All right.
Right.
And start with, and if you didn't have your offer right, if you didn't have those things and there's already resentment, that's very identifiable. Like, does your sales team listen to you?
Right.
Like, do they
Right.
get like these are desperate? If they don't, then hey, you know what? No hard feelings. I know this is my fault as well. Help them find
Yeah.
another job or whatever, but it's time
Yeah.
to move on and bring in new people.
Yes.
Right. Simple as that. So I know but it's what we, again, as I've seen it from all levels. I've been at the bottom of the heap where I'm holding on to people
Yeah.
where I shouldn't have. And this
Yeah.
year as well, I mean,
Sure.
I still struggle with decisions.
Sure.
I'm not immune to it. I've made
Right.
mistakes and it's difficult. It's hard, right? You want to take care of everybody and you want everything to work out. But the sooner you can make these clear cut delineation lines and get rid of the bad stuff and start to bring in people who are going to give a shit, the easier you're going to
Yeah.
get through the next little while. And then
Right.
if you are making a lot of changes, all right, so if you know you're out there and you're a business that needs to make immediate, abrupt, hard changes, whether it be in your sales team or anything else, here's again words from bad experiences and words from good experience. I've done this right and I've done this wrong. Okay.
Right. That's right.
Look very carefully at who's in your court, who's on your team. Okay. And plan to start recruitment before you make these moves. Okay. Start recruiting
Yes.
and getting your recruitment systems locked in because there is
Yeah.
going to be really good people coming up.
Right.
There's already like this is going to become the only time when resources become readily available. Start that campaign before you start anything.
Yeah.
Okay. Because again, we're only talking about 12 months. 12 months goes by like that. And then guess what we're
That's
back
right.
into? The
Yeah.
demand's going to go back up. There's going to be no one available, and you've
Right.
missed a whole window of time to really seize opportunity, to put the final nail in the casket of your nearest competitors and to win. Right. So again, get your recruitment and hiring, then make the moves. Don't just start firing off the
Yeah.
hip and firing
Yeah.
people left and right.
Right.
Have
You're
a
not
plan.
saying just
Right.
yeah, you're not saying go in Monday morning
Right.
to your meeting and just say, just start, pulling a you're
Right.
fired, you're fired, you're fired.
Correct.
We're saying, be smart, but
Yeah. Have
start
your
taking some action. Yeah.
recruitment and hiring in place. Have your, again, like I've given you the exact steps. If you can focus on those things, by the way, recruitment and hiring, the exact same thing as marketing and sales. Who
Right.
knew? Right.
Right. Just
Identical.
marketing to a different
Same
different
system.
person. Yeah.
Right.
Right.
So if you get good at one and your offer, guess what? Same thing.
Right.
Imagine that. Right. So would it not be great to align the two of them? Hey, I'm offering to my customer. I'm going to align that with what I offer to a new hire. My offer is the same. Differentiator. Are you different? Are you a better place to work than everywhere else? Because if
Right.
you're going out and saying the same things as everyone else, you're not going to attract the top talent that will be available
Ooh.
now. They are
Right.
everywhere. So make
Yeah.
yourself different, make yourself stand out. And again, make sure that everyone new coming in gets a better grip of what it is that you offer and why it is you're unique and why
Right.
customers choose you over everybody else.
Right. And I'm just going to say this shameless, play on fear. If you're not doing it, somebody else is.
That's right. You're either going to be
Right.
the predator or the prey. Now's the
Yeah.
time to be a
So,
predator, right?
I mean, I've been in the position where, we were like, I came into a business that had years and years of making bad decisions and had to like work our asses off to dig out of that. And then I've been in the position where I was the market leader.
Right.
And like I was winning as the most expensive quote because we were just the best. and they
Just
knew if
dominant,
they
right?
knew they were going to pay a premium, but they knew
Mhm.
what they got. They knew that if I told them it was going to be, within this 2 or 3 week time frame completion outside of change orders, that's what they're going to get. And continuously, I slapped around the competition because they weren't adapting. They weren't
And
ready.
again, it's so easy to do, and like this is the opportunity. So like, despite all the bad news and all the bad press and everything,
Right.
now is the time, guys. Like, if ever there were a time to grow and expand and to be top of your game, demand's not actually gone down. It's been slowed down, but it's not
Right.
gone down. Okay.
Right.
So now is the time to, if you want to get clear about your marketing, your brand, your core offers, your messaging, everything I've talked about today and more, come join me at the Marketer Pro AI. We're running classes for it.
Yeah.
I will teach you this stuff for free. All right. I'm not looking. Listen, information is available. It's out there.
Right.
And if you want help implementing the plan that we create together, I will help you implement that so that you have the same opportunities as I do, and that you're
Right.
going into this with real advantages, with
Yeah.
real ways to beat the markets. And again, not quick wins, but ones that are going to sustain you long term and turn you into the predator in your market. Right?
Well,
That's my
there are
offer to you.
some. I was going to say, Jay. Again, you've done this for longer than I have, as far as it's 8 years of contractor, but I've been in business for 25, and I have. I'm going to say I've been genuinely surprised at some of the wins that some of our people in our group and our community are getting.
Oh
I mean,
yes.
people are. I mean, and not, like I'm thinking of Mark, who
Yep.
like 130K. Like,
Right.
so, and I'm just gonna tell a story real quick. So Jay and the team put together a playbook, which is 50 pages, and it is the playbook. I mean, it's not every last little detail of what we do, but it's a lot of stuff. It's a lot of strategies and easy to implement, like easy to put to work right now. And so Mark, one of our community members, grabs it, and within a couple of hours goes to his no opportunity list. So goes to the dead leads,
Mm-hmm.
and reaches out, follows it like to the letter, and within a couple of hours has a $130,000 contract, 50% down.
Right. Yeah. No,
Done and
that's
done. And that's not like that's a one off that we have. Like,
no.
that's literally one of a dozen or more stories like that, like within a week of rolling out our playbook.
Right.
So I think, one of the things that I'm really proud of, that I think we're doing really well and is getting results. Like, no BS. Like,
No.
this is like, we are about results. We don't care about anything else, right? Like,
No.
if we can't deliver results, then
We'll fire ourselves.
that we're just, yeah, like we're out. So
That's right.
I'm really proud of like those things, because I mean, I'm thinking of Carl, who I think had his best month ever.
Right.
Like,
Yeah.
I mean, these are
So
like
that's
real
a great story.
measurable.
So Carl, that I've been working with on and off for about 2 years or so. But this year he really, actually in the last 3 months when working with Contractor AI, he really leaned into what I was saying, implemented the systems, and
Right.
landed his first property manager contract. So he was primarily
Okay.
B2C, but he got tough, and we did a campaign with him, and he went after
Yeah.
project managers. All right, I had been telling him for
Nice.
years. And
Yeah.
lo and behold, he gets an opportunity to bid a project, follows our scripts, our plays, everything to a T,
Awesome.
right down to
Awesome.
pricing. And I'll never forget this. It was a glorious moment for me. I
Yeah.
knew that he was going to win the job. He'd messaged me back and forth. If you want to see, it's in our members group, but I messaged him back and forth. He wanted to go in at a 20% margin, and that would have been his best, most profitable job ever. Now the job's
Yeah.
like $700,000-$800,000 job, and he's
Right.
sweating it. So we fought back and forth over text at 9:30 at night,
I've been
and
there.
I'm going,
Yeah.
run 33%, run 33%. He told
Yeah.
me, he put in the bid. He messaged me a bunch more times saying, oh, they're not going to take me. They messaged him back 2 days later, have him come in. He won the contract at 33% net, 780 feet.
Awesome.
And this is his
Woo!
entire revenue
That's
that he
awesome.
earned last year in the first week of January. And
Wow. I did
and
not know that.
yes, this was
Holy
his
cow.
entire revenue. So this is going to be a job he'll work on all. It's 68 townhouse units.
Awesome.
And again, for him and his
That's
family,
great.
this is literally like you could not find a happier guy in the planet
That's
right now, because not
great.
only does he not have to sell anymore,
Right.
although he could, but
Yeah.
he's just raised his net profit from 12 or
Amazing.
15% to a 33% net, and he's going to be consistent. So like those are the kind of stories I like to share in terms of results. They're not
It's
uncommon.
awesome.
And again, it's about getting clear, finding the market that needs, and again, those 9 steps that I shared throughout this, exactly the ones he followed, the
Right.
exact same ones that our members are following. If you want to come and learn them, again, I'm not gating
Yeah.
any information. I want you to have it. It's when it comes time to implementing, that's where I know you need Contractor AI, where we come in and implement the stuff that's hard, that's difficult, that's technical, all the shit that you shouldn't be touching. And then you just run your strategy and watch the results pour in.
Well, and I'm just going to say, and I'm going to keep saying this. So, first of all, to the person who's appropriately skeptical,
Mm-hmm.
so yes, we have a service. Yes, we want to sell it to you if you're a good fit for it and you need it and you're going to get results, and can pay for it, of course. But for if you're not sure, which is most people, our community, all of the courses that Jay and the team have built
Are all
are
there.
just there. They're free,
Right.
right? And so when Jay says no gatekeeping, that's not just like a hooky fancy thing that you hear on TikTok. That's real. Like
Mm-hmm.
all the courses are there. You just got to click on them and you can go through them. And then every Thursday at 3 o'clock, Jay's doing free trainings,
I even
taking
coach
people
you for
through.
free.
Yeah, like you're getting like, I mean, so if a person could come in now, and lots of people will, and we know that will
Mm-hmm.
come in, go through the courses, could get a lot of value, and
Mm-hmm.
never buy a thing. And we understand that's a risk we're taking, right, Jay?
Yep. Yeah, absolutely. And again, here's what it comes down to is only 5% of those people I'm even trying to work with anyways. So
Right,
I know my market. I know who I
right.
get best results with.
That's right.
I'm not looking to work with everyone. And at the end
Right.
of the day, I say community and I mean it. All right.
Yeah.
I'm not trying to sell coaching. I'm not trying to sell that. We've all been through those coaching programs that promise, ridiculous results and then
Right.
make you do all the work. If you want that, I'll give that to you for free. If you want to come in and you're the 5% that are looking to aggressively grow their business, being around
Right.
guys who have already
Yep.
aggressively grown their business,
That's right.
and you want, the fast track to get there, it naturally only makes sense to make the next step. If you don't want
Right.
to be implementing hard, complicated, difficult systems, if you don't want to be doing $7 and $8 an hour tasks that you shouldn't be doing, all right, that's where we serve. And that's, again, that's our message. That's our promise. That's our offer here is come and learn. That's, what, there's no gatekeeping. Information is available or free. I'll present it to you just the way that
Right.
it's out there.
Yeah. And I think,
and again, for the, yeah,
well, I was just going to
go
say,
ahead.
I'm sorry to interrupt you. I was just going to say that again, we understand that one, most of the people that come into the group and are in the community probably are never going to buy anything, right?
Yeah.
We're
No,
okay
absolutely.
with that. First of all. Secondly, in spite of that, we are ridiculously selective. So it is only contractors. And I know I don't join groups. I specifically don't join groups because you get spammed. I
That's
mean,
right.
it's
Yeah,
worse
we
than
got
your
none of that.
email inbox. And
Right.
so I'm very proud of this. And there is a lot of energy and effort because, I'm on as an admin. So all those requests, show up right here on my phone every day, all day and through the night. And I mean, we have had probably 6,000 requests or 5,000, 6,000, and there's 600 members. That's how selective we
That's
are.
right.
So
Yep.
so people that join aren't going to be spammed to death because that's not how we roll.
Nope.
So, I want to make the point that it really is a community and people are, and it's really kind of cool to see because, I mean, when I signed on here to help Jay out, like there were no members.
Right. It is, right?
It was goose egg, zero. And it's really, and for the first, I would say first 6-7 months, not a lot of activity, but it's really cool to see people, now contractors across the country and across countries talking to each other. And man, it's awesome. Like it really is a community. And so kudos to you and to the team for building that and growing it. And I mean, it's really exciting, one, that's there, and seeing, and I personally take a lot of pride in the fact that, we're not doing that, because the easy thing to do, Jay, is just to be like, I mean, to say it's exclusive, but then
Yeah,
just open the
the
gates,
spam.
because
No, again, just come and take a
people
look.
see there's 5,000 members and it's like, ooh,
Right.
that's sexy, 5,000 members, but then
Yeah.
they're getting spammed out like crazy. And
Right.
for the few people that got through, those posts do get they are gate kept. So we do
Right.
gatekeep, but we gatekeep to protect the members.
Right. Right.
So
No, absolutely.
anyway, so a lot of really cool stuff. So if you're interested in, so if you're, curious, you can join. And again, nobody's going to be hounding you to buy or set a call or try to sell you the next thing. No, it's just a lot of great resources. It's a community of other contractors. I think it's quickly becoming one of the best communities, in my opinion, because I've been a part of a few others, not naming any names. and 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 so it's a real community. There's real resources. Both clients and community members are using the tools and the resources and getting results. Period.
That's all that
Full
matters.
stop. Right.
Yep.
So Jay goes live every Thursday at 3:00 and is doing free trainings for an hour. So interested in that, you can hit any of the links and you can request to join, and somebody will look at it. And if you're a contractor, you're probably going to get in. Also, we're live every 3:00, every Friday at 3:00 as well. And, we are here to, again, build a community of contractors, to deliver solutions that we have used, and Jay is still using in his contracting business, and to, bring value to what we both believe is an underserved community. So, thanks for hanging out with us, and we'll see you again next week.